we've all heard stories of people seemingly coming out of nowhere and making millions or just being hyper successful overnight. And that is just as far from reality as you could get. I'm sure you guys would know that. And that's the thing. We don't see the years, the hours put into work, the trial and error and the setbacks that that specific person has faced before their breakthrough actually happens. And I guess that's kind of the one thing I wanted to highlight to trading specifically, and that's because you have a lot of people within the space just selling a dream, selling these ideas that are just completely false. Like you see them driving golden Lamborghinis, living high lives in Dubai, and all these kind of glamorous things that obviously it'd be very nice to acquire for yourself. But in the end of it, that's not how they got there. They didn't get there just by, I don't know, selling a course. They didn't get there by selling signals and doing whatever they're trying to sell you. That's not how they did it. Most of them are frauds, but typically the people who have actually done it and done something good with themselves, it didn't take them like that short amount of time to do that amount of success. It took them years and years of patience. And that's the illusion of overnight success. We're in an age of social media. We can see a lot of things very quickly. There's a lot of instant gratification, and we kind of translate that into our everyday lives, and we expect a lot of things to happen instantaneously when throughout history it's just shown that that's just not the case. Like evolution, for example, it takes millions and millions of years to see the smallest amount of change in humans and just animals in general. So if you're trying to apply something of substantial change to your life, why is it going to happen in the next 5 minutes? It doesn't marry up, you know. And take a look at Warren Buffett, for example. While we're staying on the theme of trading, take a look at Warren Buffett. If we're going to be understanding how he became rich, we need to look at his history. He started investing at, I don't know, the age of 10, 11, I'm pretty sure. And he didn't become a millionaire until 30. So that's 20 solid years of his life just being consistent, being patient, and understanding that him doing these same repeatable actions is going to get him to the same place. Not the same place, sorry. It's going to get him to the next place. It's going to make him greater. Anyway, he didn't become a millionaire until 30. He didn't become a billionaire until I think it was 55 or 65. Let me actually double check. Yeah, he didn't become a billionaire until 55. So another 25 years after that, it took him to become a billionaire. And you would think, if I can make a million, I can make a billion, and it's going to be easy. People always say the first 100K is the toughest, the first million is toughest, but then the rest of them just come flowing through. Obviously, that isn't the case here. But the point that I'm trying to derive for you guys is the fact that it takes a lot longer than it seems to be successful. Doesn't mean it's impossible. It doesn't mean that the success won't happen, but success doesn't happen overnight. The answer lies in consistency, small repeated actions that will compound over time. And that's the next point that I wanted to move on to, is you have to think of success again like investing. It's not just about having one massive win. You want to be steady, disciplined, and actioned over time, just so you can build that compound interest that grows your money. Let's say you put your money in the bank and you get 5% returns on a savings account. That's not necessarily giving you compound returns because it's just 5% flat. Whereas if you invested it into the stock market and you keep that money in there, you're going to be getting the average return is about 8%. So let's say put in £1,000, get 8% a year over 20 years. That's going to compound because you're going to be getting 8% of 1,000 the first year. Then you're going to be getting 8% of 1,000 or the last result. So I think it's £1,080. And you're going to be getting 8% of £1,080, and then so on and so forth, so on and so forth, so on and so forth. And eventually that just grows and grows and grows and spirals up in your favor. It's the same as Would you rather take 1 million today, or would you take a penny that doubles for 30 days? If you then look at how exponential that grows, that's a perfect example of compound growth or compound interest. Consistent efforts in any area of your life, it builds that compound momentum. And that's exactly what you want. That compound effect of consistency is what's going to give you quicker results. But most people, they physically can't think in long-term compounding scenarios. Again, going back to how social media has framed our mindset, and just the way that it's designed to feed you cheap dopamine, cheap rewards. As soon as your brain kind of wants another dopamine hit, all you have to do is just swipe up, and then you can reward your brain with that reward. We've been conditioned over how many hours, days, weeks, months, years to just absolutely fry our receptors to not really be rewarded for the most best things. So thinking long term is a lot harder, especially for the younger generation now, because we're focusing on such a short time span. Like, even before social media was around, people were still focusing on short time spans, such as like a year. They think that they can overachieve certain things in a year, but then they underestimate the amount that they can do in 5 years. And that's where perspective lies. You have to shift your perspective in terms of what you feel like you can achieve in 1 year versus what you can achieve in 5, 10, 20 years. And it is a lot harder because you're essentially trying to predict the future or guide yourself on this future path. But setting yourself huge goals, almost unattainable goals, or unattainable to your mind, is where you need to be. Think of that as your long-term goal rather than your 12-month goal. The shift in mindset, it creates room to adapt and grow and adjust your path as necessary. You're not trying to find the route now. You just want to know what the destination is. That's how you plan for your long-term goals. This long-term thinking is what separates those who actually succeed from those who just keep on chasing the quick wins and don't necessarily make a lot of progress. And that brings me to my next point: why get rich quick always fails. The reason people get sucked into it is because it's just so glamorous. Marketers are trying to sell you dreams that are quite obviously unattainable. Everyone wants a shortcut. Everyone wants the most efficient way to do something. Everyone just wants to have what they want right now. And that's fair enough. We all want a good life. I don't blame you. But they're either scams or completely unsuitable or unsustainable for the way life is built. You can't just be on one end of the spectrum and grinding your ass off every single day trying to achieve something. You can, but it's going to burn you out crazy quick. And on the other end of the spectrum, you can't expect 10, 15 minutes of work a day to bring you £10,000 a month. It doesn't work. Again, it's either a scam or it's completely unsustainable. You need to find the balance of the two. Real wealth, it's not found. You can't just pick it out of thin air. It doesn't just get, given to you unless obviously inherited. You have to build that stuff, You genuinely have to build that and have the most patience. You're going to be tested so much. The willingness to submit to time and understand that time is the biggest factor in becoming wealthy, not rich, wealthy. Time is the most important factor. You need to understand that you have to time everything properly, but expect it to take 10 times longer than it's going to take. So again, this brings me to my next point, which is just trusting the process and sticking to the plan and ultimately having the patience to see it through. Like I said before, having the willingness to submit to time and stay patient and trusting the process is, again, like the glue to the plan. You can have the bricks to build the house, but without the glue, the house is just going to fall down. And the glue is trusting the process, trusting the plan that you've built meticulously, the goals and the destinations that you've thought for your 5, 10, 20-year plan. You need to trust that it's going to bring you to the outcome that you desire. And yeah, patience is just one of the skills that guarantees success. Obviously, putting yourself in the right rooms, doing the right actions accounts for it as well. But whilst you're doing those and whilst you're in the right rooms, you need to be patient and just understand that giving up too soon is what's going to keep you from staying focused. It's going to keep you from learning and pushing through the slow phases. And eventually, if you do have enough patience, you're going to reach the point where things just take off. And like for me, for example, right now, I didn't expect things to take off so quickly. It's only 6-ish weeks into the start of the new year, and I'm achieving things that I would have thought would have taken me closer to the end of the year. But that's just purely because I've had patience throughout this entire time, and I never really set a time limit on when I expected things to happen. So next time you feel frustrated about slow progress, just remember it's not about everything that you can achieve in 1 year, but about what you can build over the next 5, 10, 15 years. Just staying consistent to the process will bring success to you. Success will come. I know this was a different style of video. I don't really do these sit down and just talk to the camera with a lot less edits, but let me know if you do enjoy these styles of content. I definitely just enjoy putting my mind onto paper and then just, sharing it with the camera, because obviously I can share quite a few different experiences that hopefully you guys will benefit from and can learn from my mistakes. But yeah, if you did enjoy this video, please just hit that like, maybe even subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.